Spar Rewards Winner Car is back with even more winners. Sign up to new Spar Rewards and you could drive home in a special edition Hyundai i20. Simply swipe your new Spar Rewards card when you buy any participating product, like 450-gram Bacoma Wheat Bix for only $24.99 and Nivea Roll-On Deodorant. Buy any two for just 38 Emalangeni. Spar Rewards Winner Car. Now on.
Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the News Bulletin at 8, brought to you by our number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nundumiso Vilagade alongside Namakabiso Ngambule, and here are your top stories. The Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Prince Nsikanyiso, says the ministry has already set up 20 base stations for free internet. The Deputy Prime Minister's office has officially launched the Child Helpline, where children will report any incidents of violence. The Ministry of Finance Senate Portfolio Committee discussed the Eswatini Student Loan Revolving Fund regulations and how students will benefit from the fund. The news. The Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Prince Nsikanyiso, says the ministry has already set up 20 base stations for free internet. The minister has been speaking in Parliament and responding to a question by the House on the update of the free internet services for schools project.
When the House of Assembly resumed for parliamentary duties on Wednesday, the Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Her Royal Highness Nkosatana Nsikanyiso, furnished the House with responses following a question by the Sipochosini Member of Parliament, Mduduzi Matsebula, saying, could the Honourable Minister shed light on what happened to the project and equipment donated by the International Telecommunications Union to provide accessibility to free internet to schools?
Li hlanganisile liposi EPTC and MTN kwabanjiswanwa kusukela lo mnyaka lesifike ngayo lesethulo kuze kube ngilamuhla losho ukuthi titeshi lesetakhiwe tingemashumi lamabili condzisi wetinkhulumo 20 base stations that have been erected by the ministry. 3 of them will be set to life within the next few days. Mr. Speaker, in the Hoho region, we have Buhleni, Vusweni, Nzingeni, D2 fire lookout at Pigs Peak. In the Manzini region, we have Ndondozi, Mbuluzi, Makutvulwini, and Liba. In the Lubombo region, we have Bigiti, Lamahasha, Bam Bam, Stegi, Gapunga, Galanga, and Stobela. In the Shiselweni region, we have Mahamba, Ngweni, Hlatikulu, Mbabala, Lkolweni, New Haven, Mandambe, and Ngondolo, Lavumisa. Then the pilot sites, which will be ready by the end of the month, are at Vusweni, Mliba, and Hlatikulu.
The minister also said the ministry is set to bridge the digital divide in the country. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samgal Suekoza with Temba Shabango and Sikumbuzo Dlamini, Parliament.
The Deputy Prime Minister's office has officially launched the Child Helpline 116, where children will report any incidents of violence. The launch was held at the Lobamba National High School.
The acting Deputy Prime Minister Neil Rickenberg, who is also the Minister of Finance, is represented by the Director of Social Welfare, Mkhusi Shongwe. The launch of the Helpline 116 has a marketing campaign. Ngito Big will report.
Since the commissioning of this line in the first 3 months of its existence, the line received a wide array of cases totaling 230 recorded to date. From these, 135 were for child protection, 21 gender-based violence cases, 19 were general inquiries, and 55 other cases touching on child protection concerns. All these cases were referred to the relevant stakeholders for actioning.
UNICEF and UNICEF representatives appreciate government of Eswatini for setting up the Child Helpline 116.
May I also advocate to you, Acting Deputy Prime Minister, to work toward ensuring that the full operation of this Eswatini Child Helpline be one day in the near future fully funded from the national budget of the government of Eswatini to ensure its sustainability.
We recognize that children are the foundation of our society and our best hope for the future. As such, we must do everything in our power to safeguard them and encourage them to reach their greatest potential.
The helpline started operating in October last year. It is open from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. You can call using your cell phone. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Lobamba.
The Ministry of Finance Senate Portfolio Committee discussed the Eswatini Student Loan Revolving Fund regulations and how students will benefit from the fund. The minister unpacked the regulations.
Out of the fund, we all calculate how much are our imports, because SACU fund is made to drive inter-SACU regional importation and use of goods. So you calculate the amount of imported from the other SACU countries. The other country calculates how much they've imported. Each one calculates how much they've imported. How much you've exported doesn't affect your numbers. How much you've imported goes into a percentage of how much of the pool of money comes to you. So it's quite a strange way that money goes in and versus how it comes out. There's no relation to how it comes into how it goes out. So to explain the 85%, so which means 85% now, again, the formula of how it's given is what I've explained now is the main way, but there are other ways that are also there. There's a development portion, but to go into it in detail will take a long time.
The Minister of Public Works and Transport, Chief Ndlahlaza Ndwandwe, who was represented by the Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Manqoba Khumalo, encourages business people who are members of Business Eswatini to grab with both hands the business opportunities that come with the introduction of Eswatini Air as they go about doing their business. The minister said this during the Let's Fly Eswatini Air Indaba, which seeks to promote the use of Eswatini Air, which is a partnership between Business Eswatini and Eswatini Air.
The Minister of Public Works and Transport, Chief Ndlahlaza Ndwandwe, encourages business people who are members of Business Eswatini to grab with both hands the business opportunities that come with the introduction of Eswatini as they go about doing their businesses. The minister is represented by the Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Manqoba Khumalo.
We need to make sure that the entire ecosystem is designed for success. And one of the key enablers of that is the movement of people, the movement of talent, the movement of technocrats, the movement of leadership, the movement of business people making deals. There's nothing as strong as a face-to-face meeting when you're trying to connect to a potential business partner.
Business Eswatini Chief Executive Officer Inat Dlamini appreciates government for Eswatini Air.
We have seen many successes already that we have achieved, sometimes through our membership as well. And we appreciate the tractable and symbiotic partnership that we have enjoyed with your...
Amos Mkhaja speaks on behalf of Eswatini Air and he says, despite some challenges, they will soldier on.
You know, reverse. Forward. So we are also moving forward as everything is happening with the little glitches here and there as you are flying with us, but we are moving forward.
The Minister of Public Works and Transport Principal Secretary Thulani Mkhalipi says some of the airlines that are willing to partner with Eswatini Air include European Airline, while some of the companies are in the rest of Africa and in the Southern Africa. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Muffin.
The Ministry of Finance has tabled before Senate the 2023 Community Development Special Fund regulations. The Principal Secretary at the Ministry of Finance, Sizakele Dlamini, says this fund is aimed at sustainable community development.
The Ministry of Finance, together with the Finance Portfolio Committee at Senate, hosted a day workshop for senators on the Community Development Special Fund regulations of 2023. The regulations were unpacked by Finance PS Sizakele Dlamini, together with Micro Projects Managing Director Sibusiso Mbingo.
This fund is administered by Micro Projects Program Coordinating Unit, which is a unit semi-autonomous under the Ministry of Economic Planning and Development. The fund augments government's departments in reaching out to rural poor communities in addressing their socio-economical needs through the following dimensions.
Isicelo sokuthi lesikhwama sicela siqhubeke sisebenze imali yakhona iphakele ngeParliament kephake nethi imali iqhamuka ngaphandle atiqhubeke tibe khona lokunye ke lokutfolakele ukuthi nang uhulumende ematiko asamthuma lo micro project nakamthumako kuyatfolakala ukuthi education yakamthuma micro uyameleka ngalomsebenzi akasamnike imali yokusebenza lesikhwama ke bonakala ukuthi akubuka indlela ukuthi micro amane amthole noma 3% wemali ebuya ka education atokukhona ukuthi alekelele ukubhadala tisebenzi alekelele ukubhadala timotolo aqhubeke umsebenzi kwakhe emaklinikhi naloka.
The committee also briefed the Senate on the Revenue Stabilization Fund regulations of 2023 and the Eswatini Student Loan Revolving Fund regulations of 2023. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samgal Suekoza with Sikumbuzo Dlamini, Parliament.
Warning on alleged job opportunities in the King's office. There has been a growing concern in terms of the members of the public who have been robbed of their monies or other personal belongings by unknown individuals or syndicates under false pretext that they would get them employed at the King's office. These people should be reported to the nearest Royal Eswatini police station. The King's office wishes to make it clear that when job opportunities are available, these will be announced in a transparent and professional manner in terms of the King's office recruitment and selection policy. The office therefore wishes to advise and warn the members of the public that at the present moment there are no vacancies. The Ministry of Finance Principal Secretary Sizakele Dlamini says micro, small and medium enterprises play a significant role in contributing to the country's gross domestic product. The PS has been speaking during the launch of the country's FinScope-blended MSME survey.
The Center for Financial Inclusion, CFI, in partnership with the Ministers of Finance and Commerce, has launched the country's second blended micro, small and medium enterprises survey. The survey was launched by the PS at the Ministry of Finance, Sizakele Dlamini.
The survey we're launching today will help Eswatini to renew the 2017 database whilst making available fresh insights that could be used by financial institutions, government partners, and policymakers to craft new financial products and development programs and policies suitable for the sector.
PS at the Ministry of Commerce, who was represented by Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises Director Mluleki Dlamini, said, with information from the survey, the government will be able to establish responsive frameworks.
With that information that will come out of this exercise, we will be able to make the right action and also advise appropriate in terms of what kind of mix of policies that we can focus on.
CFI CEO Nomcebo Hadebe unpacked challenges faced by micro, small and medium enterprises in the country.
69% of our MSMEs are financially included. 86% use personal accounts to run business. 14% use business accounts to run businesses. Over 75% of our MSMEs are actually at the micro level. These findings made us realize that we still have a long way to go to perfect our MSMEs and assist them to make meaningful contribution to the economy.
The survey will be implemented by the Eswatini Economic Analysis and Research Center, ISEPAC. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samgal Suekoza with Fumiko Sinzinisa, Ezulwini.
Press release a notice for public hearings. The Liquor Licenses Bill, Bill number 15 of 2021, which will provide for the regulation of the liquor trade through licenses. Views or opinions can be directed to Committee Clerk Ms. Nonhlanhla Shabangu on 76172820. The Measurement and Unit Measurement Standards Bill, Bill number 14 of 2020, the Meta Convention Treaty signed in Paris on the 20th of May 1875, as ratified by the Kingdom of Eswatini. Views and opinions can be directed to Ms. Nonhlanhla Shabang on 76172820. The Legal Metrology Bill, Bill number 27 of 2020, which provides for the administration and maintenance of legal metrology so as to promote fair trade in the industry. The opinions can be directed to Ms. Nonhlanhla Shabang on 76172820. The Pharmacy Bill, Bill number 8 of 2021, which provides for the establishment of the Pharmacy Council. The views can be directed to Ms. Jabulile Malaza on 78459240. The Citizens Economic Empowerment Bill, number 7 of 2021, which will provide for the promotion and stimulation of micro, small and medium enterprises development and growth through economic empowerment of citizen-owned companies. The views can be directed to Ms. Nonhlanhla Shabang on 76172820. The Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Kangeziwe Mabuza, has invited the private sector and government institutions to partake in the Eswatini Green inaugural Indaba, which seeks to discuss the effects of climate change on the economy. The Green Indaba will be held next week.
The Eswatini Green inaugural Indaba seeks to find the effects of climate change on the economy. Different stakeholders, including the private sector, can do a lot to assist government in issues of climate change. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Kangeziwe Mabuza, explains the Green Indaba concept.
Laba phansi bethu bahulumende batawube bakanye nathi netinhlangano letiqhamuka ngaphandle kwahulumende kanye nalaba sebenta imisebenzi lengekho kahulumende laba labatisebenta bona ikakhulu laba labasebenta ngetimali sibafonela ke abantu labanetimali batidele bona. Siyajabula kulonyaka kunenqayisivele la bantu labanetimali khona bathi hawu singanibambisa ngayo uhulumende ekuthenini sisebenze naye sizabetshathi yekugoqogoqoka kwesimo.
She says climate change has an effect on almost everything, thus the Green Indaba. Stakeholders have already pledged and promised to be a partner during the Indaba. The meeting will be held on Monday and Tuesday next week at the Happy Valley Ezulwini. Reporting IMKN MCB with Smuva Shongwe at the Mountain View in Babane.
Dear viewers, now take a look at our financial updates. Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV. We begin our sports roundup with football, where the Woho Regional Football Association Chairman Comfort Shongwe is admitting that there is more work to be done by the Hoho region to increase number of clubs playing at the Premier League and the National First Division from Hoho in the upcoming years. According to Shongwe, more structural policies are needed together with a financial muscle to support different clubs. At the moment, Hoho has 6 clubs from both leagues ahead of Lubombo and Shiselweni, who have 5 clubs. Manzini region outshines other regions with 12 clubs.
We begin our sports roundup with football, where the Hoho Regional Football Association Chairperson Comfort Shongwe is admitting that there is more work to be done by the Hoho region to increase number of clubs playing at the Premier League and National First Division from Hoho in the upcoming years.
Singasho vele ukuthi le tinombolo atsito tinombolo le ngathi siyajabula ngato ukuthi bona ka Premier League.
According to Shongwe, more structure policies are needed together with financial masses to support different clubs. At the moment, Hoho has 6 clubs from both Premier League and National First Division, ahead of Lubombo and Shiselweni, who have 5 clubs. Manzini region outshine all the regions with 12 clubs. And in basketball, things are not looking good for the Eswatini Basketball Association, who are not ranked in the latest FIBA rankings, be it worldwide and continental, both at male and female level.
We have not participated in any international competitions from a national team level, seniors or juniors, in over 8 years. If anything, when I first came into office 8 years ago, there was a national team that was actually preparing to participate in a regional competition. And just before the time came, we were unfortunately told that government couldn't afford to pay for the registration and that team couldn't go.
And moving on in our international news, Inter Milan have qualified for the UEFA Champions League final for the very first time since 2010 after their 3-0 victory against AC Milan on aggregate. There is a titanic clash on Wednesday evening when the defending champions Real Madrid face Manchester City. The winners will face Inter Milan in the finals at Istanbul in Turkey. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabisum Sonera, I'm in Babane.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, we'll take a quick recap of today's headlines. The Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Prince Sikhanyiso, says the ministry has already set up 20 base stations for free internet. The Deputy Prime Minister's office has officially launched the Child Helpline, where children will report any incidents of violence. The Ministry of Finance Senate Portfolio Committee discussed the Eswatini Student Loan Revolving Fund regulations and how students will benefit from the fund. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.